Very good evening. Thank you so much once again for joining us at 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. We are sorry for arriving to you this late, but first though, let us look at the top stories. President Museveni met Kony's family and pledges to support them. The Vice President, Joseph Alupo, at the BRICS Summit. UPDF retires 93 senior officers. Thank you so much for keeping it with us. My name is Patricia Lokoma Mpango and Mugalo Mohammed, still with us on sign language. With the Presidential Press Unit, President Museveni has promised to support the family of the Lord's Resistance Army rebel leader Joseph Kony. The President met the family of the LRA leader at State House Entebbe, led by Brigadier Ali Salongo Kony, who is one of the sons of Joseph Kony. Ale Kony, who came along with his mother, children, and his father's uncle, Kony Otim Thomas, expressed gratitude to President Museveni for welcoming them back home to reunite with their community and say that they are to become productive citizens. The chief of Pagere Chiefdom, Ward Yusuf Adek III, also thanked President Museveni for the current peace prevailing in the northern part of Uganda that has enabled their people to return back home. Ruat informed His Excellency President Museveni that Joseph Kony, who is now about 62 years old, is weak and unable to fight back, adding that the focus should now be on rehabilitating and supporting his family to engage in productive activities like farming. President Museveni promised to help them get land which they can utilize to do agricultural activities and collectively as a family join into the money economy. He, however, asked them to understand the concept of family company, which he said is easier to operate than dividing everything amongst themselves. The president also promised to continue supporting Kony war victims across the country. The meeting was also attended by the presidential coordinator for Northern Uganda, Mr. Udoj Bosco Olak, among others. President Yoweri Museveni has appealed to the BRICS Summit members to address the oppression and suffering the human race has gone through ever since the evolution of man into the Homo sapiens from the lower primates. This was in the statement presented by the Vice President Major Jessica Alupo at the BRICS Summit.
Speaking at the BRICS Summit in South Africa, Vice President Jessica Alupo, who delivered President Museveni's speech, that President Museveni was concerned about the different forms of oppressions that human race have gone through since the evolution of man into Homo sapien.
That had been arranged long before. However, these are our brief comments. The human race has been here for 4.5 million years, ever since man evolved into Homo sapien from lower primates.
Irrespective of the oppressions that man has endured, that are both nature and partisan-based, President Museveni appealed to the summit in his speech to embrace the metamorphosis of these oppressions that man has gone through to better the oppression of nature.
During all that time, man has faced two major oppressions. These are oppression by nature, e.g., disease, hunger, droughts, floods, earthquakes, etc., and oppression by fellow man, e.g., slavery, imperialism, aggression, feudalism, dictatorship, etc.
Speaking on the account of ideological bankruptcy and parasitism, President Museveni said that the advances in human knowledge are more often than not used to reinforce the oppression of man by man.
Unfortunately, on account of ideological bankruptcy and parasitism, these advances in human knowledge are more often than not used to reinforce the oppression of man by man. That was the situation in the invention of the use of iron tools and weapons, the invention of gunpowder, etc.
However, he revealed in his speech that God equipped man with three characteristics that enabled him to find solutions to the two oppressions of nature by fellow men.
In the fight for freedom from oppression of man by fellow men, it is important to remember what the Bible teaches us. In the book of Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, verse 26, it goes as follows.
Bearing the foregoing in mind, President Museveni applauded the relevance of the BRICS effort, describing it a gust of fresh air that after 600 years of slave trade,
Now, Prime Minister Ruhakana Rugunda has held an evolution meeting with the Agro Input Dealers who participated in the just concluded Farmers Expo 2023, which took place in the Greater Mubende districts. This meeting took place at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala.
Prime Minister Ruhakana Rugunda has just met with Agro Input Dealers who participated in the just concluded Farmers Expo 2023. The meeting, among others, was aimed at evaluating performance of the sector and to come up with strategies that will facilitate a similar campaign to take place in the districts of Nakasongola, Luweero and Nankaseke.
I am delighted to host you once again in such an important meeting where we are going to evaluate and see what we actually did, whether there are gaps that we need to reach going forward. But before that, I want to thank you, most sincerely thank you for joining us, for participating, and for helping our people, because I saw the enthusiasm our people had. The interactions you people had with them. To me, this is the order. I have attended you to this formula. I can call it a formula. It's working.
Greater Mubende is composed of Mityana, Kasanda, Mubende, Chankwanzi and Chiboga districts. Agri Expo 2023 is being used to implement the President's policy guidelines on agriculture production, productivity and profitability.
If we can use this approach, the whole of government approach, and you, our partners in the government, the sky will be the limit. We invited you here to inform you that we want to go to Luweero, Greater Luweero, with information on paper. You can make flyers, which you can leave with the people. The flyers. We are also going to do the same. This business of going to speak, and then leave. After some time, people may forget the information, isn't it? But with
you can distort.
Yes, it can be distorted. So if you go with a script, well written, summarized, these people can use this information forever.
The Premier spoke highly about this campaign, saying it was a working formula that will revamp agriculture production using the relevant ministries, departments and agencies of government.
We also discovered that some of you do not have capacity in the case of two venues at the same time. And so we have agreed in our senior top management that we shall only be having one expo. If we are going to Luweero, that day we are all there. so that all those people who have not yet got capacity can get it, and then we can.
The Deputy Secretary General NRM Resna Mayanja participated in the Agro Show and pointed out the need to synchronize the Agri Expo 2023 with the entire agriculture production value chain.
I just want to say that this is one of the aspects that brought young people together. First of all, it's unprecedented, and young people are getting the message about agriculture in a way that has not been done before.
The meeting noted with concern that there is an ongoing racket of individuals selling fake products. Farmers get scant information and end up using fake chemicals.
This program is coming at a time when the Prime Minister thinks that, okay, we've given them money. How are they going to utilize this money? So as you go out, we are providing a remedy. We are implementing PDM. We are actually putting PDM into real action.
The Prime Minister asked NARO to put standards and provide information during the Agri Expo 2023.
The improved seed must be accompanied by the knowledge on how this seed actually the farmer will grow it and how the farmer will manage this seed. So I want to advise that going forward during this event, we should have a booth, and in this booth the farmer should come out for training.
Agro Input Dealers were also cautioned against exhibiting fake chemicals and unethical competition among themselves. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Now, still with the Prime Minister, Right Honorable, has asked graduates to live within their means as they complete the first level of education. While presiding over the 15th graduation ceremony for Makerere Business Institute, she tasked all graduates to continue being resourceful and innovative.
Over 650 students have graduated with diplomas and certificates in business studies and journalism from Makerere Business Institute in Harimax during the graduation. Prime Minister Ruhakana Rugunda tasked graduates to continue being resourceful and innovative and become entrepreneurs after studies. She appealed to the graduates to desist from lavish spending and learn to live within their means instead of forcing parents to spend money unnecessarily.
If you take that path, look after yourselves. Know that life must be protected.
Premier Nabanja, who was the chief guest at the event, said Uganda is blessed to have President Yoweri Museveni, a reason Uganda is a free country enjoying the peace and stability. Nabanja showed the public of government's commitment to address the challenge of school dropout by providing an enabling environment to the less privileged to study.
How much it has costed us. The number of students who drop out, I'm told now, is almost 31%. This must stop. And let me take this opportunity to say we are banning all fees in public schools because this will increase access to education, which is the core why we have always asked our pupils and parents to take their children to school, especially the local poor.
Professor Mondo Kagonyera noted that Africa has one challenge of lack of knowledge, yet it is the richest continent in the world. Kagonyera asked graduates to treasure the knowledge acquired, but also be disciplined if they are to succeed in the world.
Down in the soils we have most of the minerals, talk about gold, talk about uranium, talk about earth. We have the highest in the world. We are even human beings like you people here. But one thing we always are poorest at is knowledge. Therefore, any people, Right Honorable Prime Minister, who are making a contribution in improving our knowledge, and many people confuse knowledge with intelligence. Intelligence we are born with, knowledge we acquire. And that's the problem we have had on the continent.
The Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, Right Reverend Bishop Chitolu Wadida, thanked the directors of MBI for the vision and skills development to learners.
We appreciate God and also yourself for the huge contribution you have made and you continue to make that enables these graduates to come this far.
The graduation was also attended by some members of Parliament, business, and Vice-Chancellor Chambogo University Professor Eli Katunguka, partners among others. This becomes the 15th graduation of the institute since its inception. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Now, Parliament seeks to amend the Public Finance Management Act 2015 to address what has been described as an abuse of the national budget. The MPs believe that the weaknesses in the law gives a leeway for unnecessary supplementary and expenditure in disguise of the unforeseen priorities.
In my experience,
Parliament is looking forward to decreasing the government appetite for supplementary and unnecessary expenditure. The move by the August House comes after government on several occasions fronted unending supplementary budgets for Parliament approval.
And it's going to create a leeway, a gateway to many aspects that are going to fundamentally help the country.
The MPs attribute the challenge to a lacuna in the law.
Over the years, we've witnessed financial indiscipline and poor management of national finances.
Butambala County Member of Parliament Mwanga Chivumbi has taken the mantle to call for an amendment of the Public Finance Management Act 2015, which road, according to the MPs, has been heavily utilized by government to abuse the national budget.
That once you have passed a budget, government should implement it as is. But what has been happening, that on July 1st, they begin to revise the budget and create all fixed expenditures.
Government and some of its MDAs normally secure funding through the mandatory expenditure below the 3% of the national budget, even after the targeted projects faced rejection by Parliament during the budget process. A case to remember is the funding to Achak Sugar Works Company, which was a beneficiary of the previous financial year and supplementary budget.
And we think it is an abuse of the power of the MPs here, because if the MPs say we are not funding this, and then you hide money somewhere and you fund it, you are basically undressing them. You are not really giving them the power to do appropriation.
So they were utilizing Section 25, which gave them a 3% of the budget. But that 3% is not anchored in the Constitution.
According to Chivumbi, the amendment also calls for the funding for contingency budget to stand alone and remain untouched in case a disaster does not surface.
And now the weakness in the present law, one, it collapses at the end of a financial year to zero, and you start from nothing. So when a major disaster comes, you don't have if Uganda is struck on July 1st, the contingency fund is likely to have zero.
Look at the issue of monies unutilized and getting back or being swept back to the consolidated fund. You have no guarantee that in the subsequent financial year, that money will be available to the entity where it was brought from. And sometimes finance releases money very late. Here on the floor of the House, the finance minister was on record for having reported that money had been released 6 days to the end of the financial year.
Meanwhile, Bugabla South MP Maurice Chibalia has alerted Parliament of a group which he says is illegal and migrates to several places disguising as money lenders, but in return harshly mistreat the population in form of beating them up and forcefully taking their belonging. Chibalia raised the issue through a matter of national importance which caught the attention of the MPs.
Right Honourable Speaker, our prayers. The Minister for Internal Affairs should really investigate who are these untouchables. These people that come with the Nkoni. The police fears them. Who are these untouchables, Right Honourable Speaker? 2, finance. I see Honourable Musasizi here. Finance should tell us. These money lenders, 13 groups in a small town council. with different names. Who are these money lenders that have this behavior?
In my constituency, I have a team of money lenders who are now popularly referred as to daily. They have made women to run away. Women go and hide at times in Kenya because there's a lot of conflict. So I've been trying to find out, this is a team called Daily. Where are they coming from?
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Now, the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Peter Yoweri, has cautioned those joining the army not to regard it as a business, but instead make it a patriotic service. Yoweri was officiating at the send-off ceremony of 93 senior officers at the Defense Headquarters and called the retirees to repent of their sins committed during service.
The retired 93 UPDF senior officers include 17 colonels, 13 lieutenant colonels, and 63 majors perceived to be among the long-serving officers who have served the force for at least 40 years.
Thank you so much for alerting us early enough. There are no surprises because the general administrative orders normally come out almost 5 years before one retires. So that one gives us chance really to prepare accordingly.
These have commended government for the opportunity given to serve their country for a remarkable period.
Serves as a constant reminder of the significance of our roles in ensuring a secure and prosperous Uganda, especially as we are joining you as Wananchi out of combat, ready to continue creating wealth for ourselves through PDM and other government initiatives, being our beacon.
The force has advised them to represent UPDF in a disciplined manner and engage in government-initiated wealth creation programs for survival.
Ensures force continuity, ushers the retirees to life after or outside military service, and not only got to network with the civilian community, but also be able to invest your retirement package wisely when you are still capable.
Lieutenant General Peter Yoweri, the Deputy CDF, urges public to change their perception that serving the army is a lucrative business venture.
You never joined the army as a job. You joined it as a calling. Today, most of the people join the army as a job, and that's where we're getting it wrong. Because the army has never been a job. It is a service to the people. It's a sacrifice.
Yoweri appealed to the retirees to reflect on their past and repent where necessary for life continuity.
It is time for you to prepare to serve yourself. If you still have the energy, don't waste that energy for any other thing. Waste that energy to prepare yourself for the final destiny. And that final destiny is the grave. There is nothing more than that. During our service, you might have stepped on many people. Maybe you have done so many things. It is time to reflect and repent. Ask for forgiveness, so that as you leave tomorrow, you find that you are set free.
Major Richard Kidega is among the retirees and has spent the recent 5 years preparing for retirement and has established a poultry business.
So in 2019, I was transferred near my home in Gulu. From there, I started preparing myself, preparing the family members, that I'm going out in 2023-24 financial year. So we constructed our house, we completed, we bought some few acres of land. We started rearing birds, majorly chicken. And that is the business I've started. And that's where my fallback. I think life will not be difficult at all.
The send-off of these officers follows the President's approval of the retirement of 110 general officers, where 99 are senior officers from the rank of Major to Colonel and 11 generals. General send-off is slated for 31st of August 2023. Abdul Nasili Luwama for UBC.
Now, Pokot pastoralists in Amadat cannot move to other districts unless they surrender their weapons, which they have been using to inflict fear upon the neighboring communities. This decision follows the recent killings of the security personnel by suspected Pokot warriors in Karita, along with the loss of numerous lives among the Pian people in Nabilatuk.
The Deputy Commander, UPDF 3rd Division, Brigadier Felix Bosizori, the Mount Moroto Regional Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Francis Chemsot, and various security operatives from South Karamoja have issued a travel ban against the Pokot. This decision follows 2 months of terrorizing the Payan community, including the alleged killing of 2 UPDF soldiers in the Karita area. This announcement to cease terrorizing others has led to a travel ban against the Pokot community in Karamoja.
It is going to seal off Amadat because all the guns have been coming from Pokot West through Amadat. So we are going to seal off the whole of Amadat until we agree with the leadership in Amadat that there are no more guns.
This was at the peace meeting also attended by community leaders that included Judith Natuk, the Karachuna mobilizer, along with reformed Karachunas and members of the Pian community. The meeting was aimed at mobilizing the warriors to willingly surrender their firearms to the government, striving to break the cycle of violence. Among the attendees were Albino Lamojong Irokol, a 26-year-old father of 3, and Yoyo Abura, 22, who both confessed to participating in cattle rustling as a response to previous theft of their livestock and the loss of their loved ones.
He was a thief, was a raider. Now the bullet had killed him. He is no longer producing any child. He cannot erect anymore because he was shot in the west. Now the man is lame, he can no longer erect. All what you got on a negative attitude, like he gained losses only. You steal one cow from there, when they follow the footmarks, again they come and take with the one that you had at home.
Former warriors, including Lamojong and Abura, have now transformed into advocates of peace, urging others to abandon the destructive practice of cattle rustling. They, however, want government to enhance their well-being, discouraging any inclination towards rearmament.
This issue called raiding, they cannot help anymore. You see like as an example, even the cows that we had at home, they even come and take the cows of their father because of your sins.
You help these people, support the groups who have been giving. They can say, and they have been talking here, so that they can remove that from
the government to construct for him the house that he can stay there, even though his cows to bring, there's no problem. He gives him some cows, he gives one.
In the disarmament efforts led by Judith Natuk, the Karachuna mobilizer, a positive trend towards peace within the Karamoja sub-region is emerging.
In northern Karamoja, for example, that is in Kotido and Kabong, where we have registered the highest number of handovers, voluntary handover of guns, there is relative peace. There is no more raiding like it used to be. There is no more killing of each other like it used to be.
Natuk and her associates hold an optimistic outlook, believing that voluntary disarmament will yield fruitful results.
Kabong and Kotido were just like the Pokot and the Pian. We even never at one time thought that they would come together like the way they have. But we tried to talk to people and tell them, please, We told them, let's forget the past.
Any gun within the district, we are going to follow it up and return it to government, and we shall work together with the forces. We shall work together with the presidential advisor for disarmament of Karamaja region. We shall work together and get these guns back.
Now into the PDM initiative, 4 SACCOs in Changkwanzi district have received PDM money. Wow. This was after successfully fulfilling the requirements that enabled them to access the funds.
Changkwanzi district SACCOs are the attest beneficiaries of the parish development model funds. The district commercial officer Changkwanzi, David Bryan Sekamate, says around 4 SACCOs met the necessary requirements to access the PDM funds. This is after the SACCOs fulfilling of the criteria to access the critical financial support met to serve the 39% poor people in this largely cattle keeping area.
Bw'oba tolina ndagamuntu tebajja kugira. Naye kye nekakasa ffenna tujja kubaawo nga tuli baki basanyufu. Gavumenti yaffe etuyambye mu bintu bingi, esobodde okubeera ng'etuwa ssente zino za kwekulaakulanya, naye tuzikozese bulungi. Abamu abazifunye bazikozesezza nga bavudde ku mulamu ogwazibaweesa, naye tuzikozese bulungi.
The dispatchment process was reportedly transparent and not tainted by corruption. The development manager at Opportunity Bank said they developed extensive training to the beneficiaries of the PDM money. This training was aimed at educating recipients on responsible financial management and repayment of the loans.
We decided to bring the service closer to the people because we saw that the beneficiaries incur a lot of costs. We see that maybe a beneficiary to move from Mbogobiri to the Koima where the bank is, he or she needs a cost of 20,000, and we saw it being a very huge cost to them. So we decided as a bank to bring that service to the parish level or to the parish headquarters so that these beneficiaries withdraw their money from the parish.
Opportunity Bank officials ensured that the PDM money reached the target group.
Tuzifunye ngebuuzirane wano zina mu ngalo sente za ddala si za kifere. Tugenda kuzizaaza meme ebyaffe bwe tumala kuzizaaza mu tumale tuzizeeyo n'omulala akwateko.
Mu banka awo wabadde wajja kunkaluubiza n'ate wano ndaba batuusiza mu bwangu ate mu bulungi ndaba nga si wali.
Well, you have seen the smiles. Now, the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has championed the transformative movement towards environmental protection. This was contained in a speech delivered by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, during the 7th graduation ceremony of Makerere Institute for Social Development, held at iconic Makerere University in Kampala.
The Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has lauded universities, institutes of higher learning for the skills offered to graduates to participate in the country's development. In a speech delivered by the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, Vice President Major Jessica Alupo asked graduates to appreciate tree planting to solve issues associated with climate change.
The period you have spent at Makerere Institute for Social Development should have enabled you to acquire the specialized knowledge and the skills in the previous disciplines of your focus. I therefore believe and trust that you now possess the required competences in those fields of study. The qualifications you have acquired will therefore be your visa to employment, but they should also enable you to be job creators.
Major Alupo urged them to envision higher aspirations and to harness their acquired knowledge and skills. Minister Muyingo congratulated President Yoweri Museveni and First Lady Janet Museveni upon marking their 50th wedding anniversary and invited the youth to draw inspiration from the President's dedication. The principal of Makerere Institute for Social Development, Mirike Migisha, showered praise upon the government for fostering a conducive environment for educational growth.
Life is not final. Failure is not fatal. Here we have not failed, I think. It is the courage to continue that counts. So please, let's continue in whatever we are doing, in the life we are going to lead.
Former Namirembe Bishop Samuel Sekade imparted wisdom to the fresh graduates and urged them to appreciate their profession. Sudat Kaye and Fred Kasibante, UBC News.
The Minister for Kampala, Hajat Mensa Kabanda, has asked for exchange working visits between Uganda and Turkey aimed at benchmarking skills for the two countries. Kabanda says through these skills, youth will be empowered economically, reducing on dependency and on crime rate.
Kampala is overwhelmed by youth, most of whom are unemployed. Experts advise that these youth take on vocational skilling to increase household income and curb crime.
We believe this is the only way how we can reduce the number of organizations begging from donors. Because if we have these equipments, it will help us to generate also some money that will support our project for sustainability. And also, it will reduce the number of young people who are on the street snatching people's bags and phones.
Because as TICA, we are always taking care about the people's skill because the employment is very big difficult in Uganda, and in this way we are giving some opportunity to people to get some proficiency, and after that they can find a job anywhere.
The Minister Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Mensa Kabanda, has lauded the Turkish government for uplifting education standards in Uganda. This was during a handover ceremony of catering equipment to less privileged youth in Namungona.
If we could borrow a leaf from Turkey and bring it here, as you're giving us, we can get much more money in agriculture and poultry. And exchange programs. Exchange programs, if you could take children, not for work, but they go for exchange programs, they go, they study, they come back maybe for some 6 months, 8 months, 3 months, they would achieve a lot.
Kabanda advised non-government organizations working towards uplifting communities to work closely with government so as to tap into open government programs.
There is money for government, which you can also give, they can also tap at KCC and utilize that money. If there is money, please, can you come here and guide them as to how they can get that money from government, because they are our Ugandans. As we are looking for foreign people to assist us, as KCCA, we can also assist. So,
in attendance was the Ambassador of Turkey to Uganda, His Excellency Fikret Karim Alp, who reiterated Turkey's commitment to support Uganda's economy through skills development.
TICA, the agency responsible for implementing and coordinating Turkey's development cooperation policy, is supporting Uganda especially in terms of capacity and institution building in the fields of education, vocational training, health, agriculture. I happily learned that as of today, we have completed 69 projects so far in Uganda, and this number will increase to 76 as of end of this year.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Well, it's time for us to take a short break, but do not go away. We'll return with more news.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel. a reason to imagine.
The drilling of development and production wells for the Kingfisher project in Kikube district started in January 2023, while the delivery and assembly of the 3 drilling rigs for the Tilenga project is ongoing. Enabling infrastructure works for the other required facilities, including the central processing facilities, well pads, flow lines and camps, remain on course. The produced resources will be commercialized via the East Africa crude oil pipeline, which will run from Uganda to Tanzania, and the 60,000 barrels of oil per day Uganda refinery project, which will be constructed in Hoima. These projects are bringing investment of $15 billion into the country. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Capote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Capote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Capote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sevatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel. A reason to imagine.
We appreciate that you are still giving us your time. This is News Tonight, and we continue. The government of Uganda has expressed commitment to strengthen its relationship with the government of Japan in a bid to improve the quality of education in all institutions of learning. According to the State Minister for Higher Education, J.C. Muyingo, the government is prioritizing the promotion of education to boost the country's economy.
During the commissioning of the 6 classroom blocks at Nabumali SS in Mbale, Minister Muyingo underscored government's relationship with the government of Japan to improve the quality of education in Uganda.
This beautiful work is a result of the cooperation, of the partnership, of the friendship that exists between the two countries, Japan and the Republic of Uganda. All this progress would not have been realized if the government did not prioritize education.
He commended Japanese government for the support towards development of education in Uganda.
I extend our gratitude to the Japanese government for this generous gesture, which will go a long way towards improving the learning environment at Nabumali SS. Let's protect it. Let's look after it as our most precious baby.
The Japanese ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Fukuzawa Hidemoto, revealed that his country is ready to continue extending support to Uganda.
2 years from now, my team will come here to see how the facilities are maintained, taking care of the facilities. Very nice. I will ask you, please apply another one.
Nabumali SS has a thin number of science teachers on the government payroll, which according to the head teacher affects the performance of learners in science subjects.
We have only one teacher for chemistry for the whole school, from senior 1 up to senior 6, one on the government payroll. A subject like biology, there is not even one on the government payroll. How do we expect me to perform?
The Mbale District Woman Member of Parliament, Miriam Mokaye, expressed the need for support to the school through the construction of a modern science laboratory.
Government is pushing for science studies in our country. But if you keenly look at Nabumali SS, we do not have a laboratory. And yet these students need to perform well in sciences. So that gap to be covered requires your key support.
Nabumali Secondary School was established in 1985 and has been among the best performing schools in Eastern Region. Yiga Muhammad, Crispus, RNA2, UBC News.
Now about fika salama, a Kiswahili word that practically means reach safely. Reckless drivers, those who drink and drive, are to face the iron hand of the law and severe penalties. This was communicated during the Traffic Police press conference in line with the Traffic Police's intention to enforcing the Fika Salama extra operations.
Traffic Police recently announced that it would resume the Fika Salama extra operation on road in line to crack down reckless driving, drink and driving and other traffic rules violations. This was due to the increased road accidents, with police recording at least 12 accidents daily. However, since these operations were carried out, police say that the roads including Jinja Road, Entebbe Road, Chira, Northern Bypass and Entebbe Expressway are still the most frequented roads.
So far, a total number of 281 drivers were captured by CCTV cameras for violating speed limit along Kampala-Entebbe Expressway in an operation which was conducted in a period of 13 hours.
Unlike the previous raids, this time the traffic police will use technology devices to conduct the operations, which will also include sensitizing the public about the Fika Salama extra operations.
We shall continue to use media like television stations, radio stations and newspapers to reach out to road users. We shall continue conducting physical engagements from bus terminals, tax parks, markets, schools, churches, mosques, and border stages.
Police lawyer Pamela Cantaro explains the amount of alcohol one has to take in if he or she is to drive.
Of which, under Regulation 4, provides that the prescribed breath alcohol level for a driver of a vehicle other than a PSV or an ambulance is 25 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of blood, and while that of a driver of a PSV or an ambulance is 10 milligrams of alcohol in 100 milliliters of breath.
Dr. Hasfa Lukwata from the Health Ministry say they have already analyzed the equipment to be used during the operations.
We'll be able to identify, to catch the alcohol in your breath, because it just enters. Once you take it, it enters in every other part of your body. So the breathalyzers are now safe and should be used without any worry. That's what.
The press conference was also attended by UNRA spokesperson Alan Sempewa.
So the expressway equally has limits, and that is why you should not speed beyond 100 kilometers per hour on the expressway.
Justin Nakami, Ivan Juko, UBC News.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Minister of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Welcome back. It's time to look at what's happening in the world of business. And as we delve into economic stability, the Economic Growth Forum has provided a platform to critically assess the challenges and opportunities embedded within Uganda's policy implementation landscape. At the conclusion of the two-day event, government committed to step up economic systems that can withstand future shocks while fostering environmentally friendly and inclusive growth.
At this 7th Economic Forum, focus was drawn to a series of crucial topics that hold the power to reshape the economic outlook in the face of challenges like COVID-19 and climate change. According to the keynote speaker, there is need for Uganda to implement strategies geared at boosting domestic revenue and find ways of strengthening exports and business productivity.
Of course, fiscal expenditure is in every country political. That's the instrument of the government in its relationship with the citizens. So it's not just technical, but also political. The problem is when one dominates the other too much. And that's the one you want to be careful of. In tax, it would be exemptions. We talked a lot about it. Fairness is an important thing about tax collection and a clear sense. On spending, it's that similar thing. Is it about political opportunism versus real proper cost-benefit analysis-based spending.
In his closing remarks, State Minister for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, underscored the importance of the deliberations in determining the country's growth trajectory.
Competitiveness is not a solitary endeavor. It requires harmonious and targeted collaboration between the government, private sector, civil society, and international partners. Our fiscal policies must be designed to stimulate investment, encourage innovation, and promote inclusive growth.
With the country banking on the oil and gas resource to fast-track social and economic development, government is advised to manage its expectations.
The problem is essentially the massive expectations that it raises. Can I tell you the simple truth? You don't have much oil. That's not much money if you were to divide it amongst everybody. That's about $20 to $40 per person in the country per year. That's not going to make the population rich. That's only about a fifth to a tenth of what Nigeria has per year. Actually, you're lucky that that's that. It's not that much. As long as you can manage expectations of the political class, of your different ministries, of what you're going to do with it. Is how you're going to handle that will be the biggest lesson.
Good policies, governance, frugality, markets and collective pursuit for progress were highlighted as some of the critical factors to economic independence. Uganda's goal, clearly articulated at the forum, is to create economic systems that can withstand future shocks while fostering environmentally friendly and inclusive growth. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Now, Uganda will join the rest of the world in celebrating World Tourism Day, with the main celebrations to be hosted on the 27th of September in Hoima City. While launching the activities geared at complementing these celebrations at the Sheraton Hotel in Kampala, Mugara Martin, the State Minister for Tourism, hailed the public and private sector initiatives and collaborations that he said have fostered the quick recovery of a sector worst affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The reason why we are pushing domestic tourism as a ministry, and this is happening globally, not only for Uganda, is because of what we learned out of COVID, a bit of Ebola, that the moment we don't have foreign tourists coming in, then there would be no business. But when you encourage Ugandans to travel, definitely the business would continue, because the Ugandans would travel, spend the money, fuel these lodges and hotels, and business would continue moving as usual. So that's why we are pushing so much for these campaigns. And there is some positive to it. We see the Ugandans responding. We see them traveling. As just giving you numbers, we've surpassed all our agencies, we've surpassed pre-COVID numbers. Of course, just also encourage the Ugandans to go and experience what the oil region has to offer, see how much government has invested, and see where the money will be coming from. Because we have been, like I said there, what we're expecting out of oil, the lifespan of us exploiting oil in this country will be maybe around almost $70 billion US, which is a lot of money. So come and see the infrastructure. We have a new airport there. But of course, around all that, we have so many tourism sites.
It is the whole world. So we are connecting with the whole world in the month of September, and specifically on the 27th of September, to let the world know that there is this destination called Uganda. And it's very important that we individually do our parts. As Uganda Tourism Board, of course, to an extent, we take the lead in promoting the destination. And our destination brand is right here, Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. The theme for this year's celebration, which is talking to green investment, is embedded in one of the pillars of Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Sustainability is one of the pillars of this destination brand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Right.
Now, still in business, the promotion of tourism, environmentally sustainable living practices and community empowerment will headline this year's second edition of Tascalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon. Let's hear more in this report.
The second edition of Mount Rwenzori Marathon, started for September 2nd, stands to highlight the lead role which tourism, environmental protection can play in conserving biodiversity and boost community livelihoods.
The Tascalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon also seeks to create a lasting impact on the Rwenzori sub-region by supporting local communities. People are waiting, people have set up their businesses in these regions for this marathon, and we support because it will be able to do something good in those communities. We promote sustainable development as well as leverage this marathon as a driving force for positive change in the community. It's therefore against this background that we rally behind the Tascalite Mount Rwenzori Marathon once more to support the promotion of environment conservation, healthy living, and talent search.
Amos Wekesa, a tourism expert, says that Mount Rwenzori and other Uganda's tourism destinations, if well marketed, have the potential of building Uganda economically.
The idea is to create as many opportunities as possible. But why the Rwenzoris? Why the Rwenzori Marathon? The Rwenzori Marathon was begun because of having an iconic feature that God gave to us called the Rwenzori Ranges. Rwenzori Ranges is made up of 16 mountains, 4 of which have permanent snow, and 5 of which among the top 10 highest points in Africa. Now we were thinking, why is Kilimanjaro making about $350 million? And yet, Rwenzoris have a big value of about $1 billion a year. What that means is that if the Rwenzoris were marketed, Uganda would earn $1 billion from it every single year.
The Mount Rwenzori Marathon comes timely to also leverage on tourism to educate the masses on best environmentally handling practices and how recycling reduce landfill waste.
We've been supporting these initiatives across. That's why we are trying to make, for example, environmentally we are trying to make our bottles more recycling. We're in partnership with a lot of other people. That's why most of the events actually we happen to be there.
The Rwenzori Mountains remain one of the largest single and most significant water catchment areas in Uganda and African continent at large. Over 5 million people in Rwenzori region depend on it for household water usage. Crispus, Arinatwe, Joshua, Kagoro, UBC News.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Well, as we turn into the world of sports, looking at Vipers, a do-or-die game for the Vipers Sports Club this Saturday as they play Botswana's Jwaneng Galaxy in the return leg CAF Champions League game. Vipers needs a commanding victory by a 3-goal margin if they are to progress.
An uphill task for Vipers Sports Club and a lifeline for newly appointed coach Leo Neva as it takes on Botswana's Jwaneng Galaxy in the CAF Champions League return leg game at St. Mary's Stadium. Unlike before, the game will be played under floodlights as the 6-time Ugandan champions revive their glory. Though their continental campaign got off at a shaky start in a 2-0 loss, the players, coaches and the technical team believe they can challenge and return to winning ways.
That's why they beat us in Botswana. They deserve the win.
They deserved the win. They played well. So they beat us by 2-0. It was a normal result about football. That's why I believe that we can beat them over here at home, 2-0, 3-0, you know.
Vipers will try to capitalize on home advantage and their fans in their favor to rectify what went wrong. For Vipers to secure safe passage to the next round, a commanding victory by the 3-goal margin without response is necessary at Chitende.
It's a new match, another 90 minutes to play for points, another 90 minutes to play the good football we saw from both teams when we were hosting them. To say, let the best team, let the well-prepared team wins the match. We are coming into this match knowing very well that it's going to be a tough one.
The outcome of Vipers match will determine the next contender, with either Comoros' Jabal FC or South Africa's Orlando Pirates waiting. Ngabo Emon, reporting for Ibis TV.
Well, as we sign out from our bulletin this very evening, let's have that recap on our headlines. President Museveni meets Kony's family. Vice President Jessica Alupo at the BRICS Summit. And UPDF retires 93 senior officers. That's it from us. Thank you so much for being a part of us. Once again, it has been a pleasure having you in your space. My name is Patricia Lukomampango Mohammed Mogalu on Sign Language. It's a good night from us, but stay tuned for more programming.